Oh my gosh. There he is, right in front of me there. That was crazy. I was reeling in this sculpin that I caught, and he followed me all the way up. Like I had the sculpin skipping across the surface, and he rose right there and tried to grab it, and I just let the slack out, let him take it for a second, and I hooked him. I don't even know what it is. Is it a pike or something? It is a pike. Wow, that was so cool. It's a fat pike. I'm catching my own... Oop, there he goes. Catching my own bait today. There we go, there's another fish. Sweet. That first fish was a little bit hectic, so I'll try to be more clear now. I just caught a bucket full of bait with a seine net. Got all sorts of stuff in there I'm going to be throwing out today. This pool and other pools probably. First fish hit on a big sculpin I managed to catch. Kind of a weird thing to catch, but this one hit on a baby white sucker. Catching them right on that current break there. Oh cool, it's a big fall fish. That is awesome. I catch a lot of big fall fish in this river, but still haven't managed to beat the record, even though I've broken it by length like 12 times I think. Haven't gotten one quite heavy enough. He ate a white sucker too, that's kind of strange. He's a good sized one, I'll tell you that much. He's a good, around 19. I'll go get a quick measurement on him. The fall fish turned out to be just a smidge over 19. So here's a nice one. Just a tiny bit, like 2/10 longer than the state record, but definitely not heavy enough because he was a summer fish. He was a smaller fall fish. Just drifting a crayfish now. So I ran out of bigger suckers that I caught. Just drifting another crayfish here. You know, when I say I'm using a free line, that just means I'm tying a size 4 hook to the main line and casting it out and just drifting the bait through. Mainly working that current break, but there could be fish in other places too. You know, when there's a slack side current break, you know, slack towards me, I'll just free line it without any weight, you know, like a true free line, and then in places where it's like a more steady run all the way across, where there's current everywhere, I might, man, another fall fish, wow, no bass yet. I might put on just a little bit of split shot, as little as I can get away with, to get that bait ticking across the bottom and grabbing on the rocks. Yeah, he's probably like a, I don't know, 16 incher. There we go. Move to this run. Drifting a Hellgrammite now. This feels like a bass. He's tugging pretty good. So I'm hoping to catch today is mostly smallies, but I do like the variety. So that's the fun part about fishing with bait in the river. It's everything eats Hellgrammites, crayfish, you know, and the other bait fish and stuff that you get. I've caught just about every type of game fish and rough fish and panfish in the river on bait back in the day. I used to do this a lot back before I made videos. That's a nice little smallie. Sweet. Just had something on that was ripping and he popped off right away. Half killed my Hellgrammite. It's kind of annoying right before this fish. Yeah. Sweet. First smallie of the day. About 14 and a half, 14 3/4 maybe. Small guy. I wanted to do this trip today while the water's still clear because that seems to speed everything up usually. Especially when you're using real good baits like Hellgrammites. Oh cool, it's a yellow perch. That's unexpected. That's really cool. Nice solid, I don't know, 12.5 incher. Crazy. On a Hellgrammite again. Still working the same Hellgrammite. It was almost dead. Fortunately, I didn't hook that perch very deep, but I caught him by the front end of the gill, right in his mouth there, so he bled. That's kind of weird. I don't usually catch fallfish out of this run. A lot of fallfish today. These guys are super aggressive even in the middle of the summer, so it's easy to catch a bunch of them on bait. This is my last big Hellgrammite I got. I was trying to say a couple minutes ago with that perch where I got all surprised that I like doing this in clear water, because when I'm using these high impact baits like Hellgrammites, Mad Toms, or molten crayfish, baits that these fish really want to feed on, especially clear water helps them see it from farther away and just speeds everything up. You get faster strikes. So usually real aggressive over those baits. Those are my favorite three. This guy's kind of feels like a bass. Yeah, another smallie. Really dogging it. Sweet. Really awkward trying to hold these fish up without having waders to tuck my rod into. It's a little smaller than the first one. My guesses have been dead on today. I measured that one bass just for kicks. That was right what I guessed. We'll see how much fishing I can get in here before it storms this afternoon. It's already getting real windy. I'm just getting started. Picked this guy up on a baby Hellgrammite. About all I have left. Oh man, awesome variety. It's a walleye. I love it. Yeah, probably 15 and a half. Sweet. Picked one up drifting a crayfish. Just a hard shell crayfish. Kind of the old standby, but a real slow bait to use. There's just so many of them in the river that they're not that appealing. Okay, here another bass maybe. No, fallfish. Wow, another fallfish. Usually don't catch this many fallfish. Kind of strange. Tons of fallfish today. It's a decent one. Probably a 17 incher. Awesome. I moved spots again. Collected bait for a while. Really exhausting work. Shuffling your feet around, moving all those rocks. Oh, he's just a little guy. Huh. I don't know what it is, a fallfish or something? I got this guy on a sucker. Caught a whole bunch of suckers, way more than usual. That's not a... Oh my gosh, I caught a catfish. I never catch catfish out of this river. That is so cool. Caught him on like a 3 or 4 inch sucker. Such an awesome variety today. Wow. Nice little channel cat. That is so neat. Oh, another fish. Fishing with the 6-pound test today. 4 would probably be better, but oh weird, another walleye? Huh, and such a cool variety. 4 would be better, but I just want something that can, you know, put a little backbone into the fish if I get a real heavy fish or a trophy game fish or something. That one might be undersized. He's probably 14 and change. This guy on a sucker too. Little baby sucker. There we go. There's a fallfish. Started working some crayfish. I had a bass on and he jumped and spat it. This fallfish hit on a little baby crayfish. Got a little bit of everything in my bait bucket. Awesome. And another solid fallfish. Got him by the skin of the lip. Now he's probably 17 and a half. It's getting towards a big one. For me at least. Caught quite a few in the 19 to 21 range, but these are still real quality fallfish. Something on a baby Hellgrammite. I remember one time I was reeling in 18 and a half inch smallmouth in this pool way back in the day. This is just a tiny little pool too. And something, I couldn't see it because it was too deep. I didn't have polarized sunglasses, but something on while I was reeling it in bit out a chunk about the size of my hand out of its side. Like a real deep chunk too. It was crazy. A little smallie. There we go. Moved again. This feels kind of heavy. This might be a carp. Got it on a big Hellgrammite. This is why I want a 6-pound test. This usually happens once a trip. I used to do this a ton back in the day, back before I made videos. I usually get at least one carp a trip. And the carp around here average like probably 18 pounds average, so it takes a few runs to get them in on 6. And today's been a lot of work, but it's also been fun. Like, variety's just been so great. Like, I never see catfish in this river. I get hundreds down at the other river. They're 6 to 12 pounds or whatever, but I never see them in this river. So even that tiny catfish I got out of that other pool excites the heck out of me. There's always carp in this run in the summer. I mean, there are in almost every run. I saw a big sucker in that last pool. Looked like it was at least 3.5, 4 pounds. It wasn't super long. I mean, I bet it was at least 22 inches, but it was really wide for a summer sucker. That's really tugging. It's got to be a carp, I think. Funny, he bit right away. Unless he didn't bite. Sometimes, like, they'll cruise up and down and, like, feed on junk. I guess crayfish, because I get them on crayfish a lot in the mouth, but once in a while I pick one up on a Hellgrammite, so he could have bit it for sure, but they'll cruise up and down feeding or something, and sometimes they'll just get hooked on the belly while you're drifting your bait and your bait's stuck on the bottom, just because they crossed over it. Trying to put some backbone into this guy here. I see him flashing out there. He might be caught on our... I think he's caught on a rock. There we go. This is why you don't want to use 4-pound test in the river. I learned this lesson the hard way too many times. Sometimes 6 is too light too. It really depends on the spot and what you expect. I'm not banking on any muskies today, so 6 is fine with me, but some of those other spots, man, just brutal. Been spooled across 600-700 foot wide river stretches like it's nothing, trying to pull them downstream. Like, I wade way downstream and they're upstream. I try and pull them down and they still spool me going up diagonally all the way across the river. Crazy. Yeah, it looks like you got a carp here. Awesome. I don't mind a carp at all. Fun fish to catch. Looks like a little guy. Can't really tell. Feels like a little guy. Spunky. It's really moving a lot. Hopefully this is the last carp we get. I don't mind catching them, but it makes the video so long when I have to fight these guys like this for a while. Also, I don't want them eating all my Hellgrammites. I only have like a few, or a couple good ones. When they get hooked on the side too, that's when it's extra hard to reel them in. This guy might be, actually. No, he's hooked in the mouth. When they roll over like that, I guess the line got caught on his fin, so it looked like he was hooked in the side. He ate that really fast. I only had that in the water like seconds. And he slammed it. He must have been aggressive. He's just a tiny carp. I gotta beat you, buddy. Make this easy for me. Over to the side we go. Right up onto the bank here. He's a really small carp. And that Hellgramite there. Still drifting that same Hellgramite I caught the carp on. Something tiny here. Baby fallfish, wow. Wish I brought my big rod to cast this guy out for a muskie. Once in a while there's one in this pool. That's something on a half-dead Hellgramite. Somehow its head got ripped off. Sometimes they'll do that though. Especially, yeah, I figure it'd be a fallfish. Especially with crayfish, more than Hellgrammites. Bass will just, like, if they're getting real shy, they'll start crushing the heads instead of taking it all in their mouth. And I'm exhausted from all the collecting more bait and from hiking so much, but come full circle, back at this spot. Got something on a bait fish I managed to catch under a rock. Looks like another smallie. Sweet. That's what I'm looking for. Still a small bass. Oh. Can't get a hold of him. There we go. Yeah. It's like 12 or so. Another fish drifting a crayfish. Looks like a tiny bass. Force him in here. Yeah, just a baby smallmouth.